How do young Singaporeans fare in this increasingly competitive landscape? How well do our young people communicate? How can we ensure that they are able to hold their own in future? Communication skills is one of the most important competencies needed in the 21st century workforce. If one is to succeed, he or she will need a mastery of English because it is the language of business, science, diplomacy, and academia. We have built a good English-speaking foundation for our students. Our achievements in international benchmark tests like the Program for International Student Assessment, PISA, and progress in international reading, PEARLS, are well documented, and I have it in a footnote, which I will not read. It will take too long. We can do better. We must help every child to attain higher standards in English, and our best students must be able to hold their own internationally. Home background plays an important role in developing good English-speaking language skills. But we must also maintain our mother tongues. This makes it difficult unless children are exposed to two languages early in life. And according to research done by Americans, the earlier in life you expose them to the 2 or 3 languages you want them to learn, the better they're able to process all the sounds and speak it fluently later in life. The specialist includes Dr. Jeanette Voss, VOS. But not all our homes have this practice. Many still stick to Chinese, Malay, and Tamil. We must ensure that all children, regardless of their backgrounds, have equal access to quality education in our schools. We need to ensure that from the time a child steps into kindergarten, he or she is exposed to good English. And our schools must provide a rich language environment. There must be a strong reading culture where children can access and enjoy good books. There must be a culture for oracy. Opportunities must be given to students to speak in English. Students must present information and ideas, to clarify and to debate robustly with each other in English. Here we are fortunate. We've got an English-speaking population to begin with. We've got a Chinese-speaking population, complete with media, radio, TV, books, libraries, so too with Malay and Tamil. So we can switch from one environment to another. If you are learning English in China, who do you speak to? And I'm told that one Indian related in our newspapers that when traveling in China on a train and they discovered he could speak English, they focused on him and wanted to practice their English with him. Because they haven't got the English-speaking environment. The work of English language competency cannot be the work of the teacher alone. It is the responsibility of every teacher who teaches in English, whatever subject it may be. And teachers must use good English when they question, speak, and write in the classroom. They are the best role models for our children and our young to be effective communicators. In leading this, there are no more important person than the principal. Principals must foster a culture where good English permeates every classroom and every interaction between teachers and students. We must galvanize the whole school community to be role models of good English. Together, we must encourage our students to speak well, read widely, and constantly to improve their English competency. You had 5 women just now showing you the variance of the English language. In Singapore, we started with the British UK standard of English. And that meant English which is received and acknowledged as good diction. But with the passing of the years and the class struggle in Britain, the received pronunciation, PR, has disappeared, and now you have estuarial English. In the old days, when I was a student there, you can tell immediately, at the moment a student speaks, whether he's a public school student, a grammar school, or a county school. And you're branded for life because you can't change your accent. Because of the rebellion against this class, they now speak estuarial English. They pretend to be like the others, to the detriment of the English language. But aside from the British, we have to decide what our future will be. And I think the increasing dominance of the American media means that increasingly our people, teachers, students, and people generally will be hearing the American version, whether it's potatoes or tomatoes. And therefore, sometimes I'm making a conscious switch on the computer between UK English and American English. And I think sooner or later I'll move totally to American English because they will be the dominant force through sheer numbers and the dominance of their economy. It really does not matter what your accent is. You can speak Australian, which doesn't sound as elegant as British or American. Or you can speak New Zealand English, which is more like British English or South African English, or Canadian English, which is nearer to American. But for the reasons I've given, I believe we will be exposed more and more to American English. So it might be as well to accept that as the inevitable final position and to teach our students to recognize and maybe even to speak American English. Your accent does not matter, but your sentence structure, your grammar, and the accuracy with which you pronounce your words, they will determine whether you are speaking an English which is understood or understandable by the rest of the English-speaking world. The launch of EDIS is timely. You, the educators, must be the standard bearers of the language. You need to encourage, stimulate, and challenge your students to be excellent communicators in English, able to hold their own at home and abroad. You must yourselves constantly seek to improve your own command and appreciation of the language, because I've been to our schools, I've heard the teachers conducting lessons. It's much better than before, but it can be much better still. You have to show an appreciation for the language which can engender in your students the same love and appreciation of good English. Our teachers must have a strong sense of mission and a desire to prepare our young so that they will upgrade their skills. And you have to upgrade as teachers your skills and competency in English so that you can play an important role in grooming future generations. So finally, I congratulate Ellis on his launch and look forward to the Institute improving the teaching of English in our schools. Thank you.